room is now filled with volunteers. We're cutting, wrapping, taping. I think we're even losing count of some of the gifts that we've wrapped at this point, you'd say. Lancaster County prison inmates now have an opportunity to receive an injection for substance abuse. There's nothing quite like those Friday night lights, but for the Lancaster Catholic Crusaders, tonight will be simply unforgettable.
And the fun does not stop when it comes to the Extra Give Mobile. It made several stops around Lancaster County today to make the opportunity to give back to a local nonprofit that much easier.
It's not until here that we've noticed cars finally make the decision to turn around and take the detour. Jonathan Williams is described as a provider, someone who deeply loved his 6 children and the many others he encountered who needed someone to lean on. Next to me here is just one of those 71 dogs, as you can see, taking a much needed nap. And Santa is here now with a lineup of kids eager to tell him what they want for Christmas. I even heard one little girl talking about how she wants a Barbie dream house, and it all just comes rushing right back. It is packed, but packed full of Eagles pride today. This is definitely one place you want to be to get hyped for a game. Cleveland Elementary School behind me has since turned into a Red Cross evacuation center for those displaced and unable to get into their homes. The rain has stopped, but voters who turned out today say they'd rather have been soaked and voted than stay dry and not voted at all. It's said time and time again throughout the year, but no time is as important as it is now to say drive sober or get pulled over.
In case you think being in a wheelchair holds her back, it doesn't.
It might take me a little bit longer to figure out how to do something, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to figure it out.
Her room, wall to wall with photos of how things used to be, speckled with inspirational quotes, reminding Danielle she's more than what happened to her that fateful day in March of 2011.
And I slid on ice and my car flipped halfway down the road and I was paralyzed on impact.
Told she would never walk again because of the severe spinal injury she endured, Danielle has worked every day since to refocus and find her life's purpose.
I really feel like this is something that actually makes sense since my accident, like something that I'm supposed to be doing, like advocating for people with disabilities.
She's headed for Erie to compete for Ms. Wheelchair Pennsylvania on Saturday. The title would give her a platform to advocate for better accessibility and inclusion for people with disabilities, something she'd never thought she'd do, but now lets her light shine bright.
I would love for everybody to be included and like be able to experience life like everybody else does.
She will compete in a series of interviews and give a speech to try to earn the title. It's a first-time experience she's going into with a positive outlook.
Whatever's meant to be will be, and so fingers crossed and manually crossing my toes. So.
We're crossing our fingers and toes for her too. Holly Harrar, 69 News.
WFMD's Holly Harrar is joining us live in the studio after hearing from several of Williams' friends today. Holly.
Rob and Wendy, Jonathan Williams is described as a provider, someone who deeply loved his 6 children and the many others he encountered who needed someone to lean on. The Allentown boxing community is now grieving the loss of one of their greatest motivators as police search for answers.
Last night in the gym, he was with his little boy.
A community is in mourning after the loss of a beloved son, friend, and father to 6 small children who friends say he did everything with.
He was with his son, teaching him how to do exercise. So, you know, I miss him already.
Luis Melendez was with Jonathan Williams Thursday in the gym they trained in for years. The two had no idea it would be the last time they'd see each other.
Yesterday we were talking about what we're going to do in June, and look at this.
Williams was shot early Friday morning in front of his home on the 600 block of Liberty Street in Allentown. He was rushed to the hospital, but later died.
This thing needs to stop in the streets. You know, too many guns, too many violence in the street. It needs to stop.
Although Williams knew how to throw down in the boxing ring, friends say his words packed the biggest punch.
Even the little bit that he has, you know, he doesn't show that he has a little bit. The way he speaks, it just, everything is just like rich about him. By him being an example, it just motivates us to want to do the same.
A life of giving, nurturing, and motivating cut short, but a legacy that will live on.
My relationship with him, you know, from a male to a male was definitely unique. I don't think I'll ever have a unique friendship, you know, with another male like that again.
As long as I'm able to keep working with boxers, his name will be always there. I hope they catch whoever did it and pay for it, that's all.
And Allentown police and detectives are working hard to do just that. It is being investigated as a homicide, and police are asking the public for any help in finding leads to an arrest. In the studio tonight, Holly Harrar, 69 News.
It's home to Mannheim Central Athletics by way of a lease set to expire in 2020. But administrators say now is the time to gain full ownership of the land so that development can continue. The Mannheim Central School Board approved a resolution to move forward with an eminent domain notice, seizing 18 acres of land already leased to them by the Graybill family, whose farm has been a staple in Mannheim since the 19th century.
So moved.
Our hope is because we do have an ongoing great relationship with the Graybills, that we would be able to come to some sales agreement.
Dr. Aiken says the district has invested nearly $3 million in the property this far. But with the new Doe Run Elementary School built for over 700 students, expansion calls for accommodation.
Parking is, for lack of a better word, our most immediate need up there, which has really kind of forced our hand to act sooner rather than later.
The school board continues to hold out for a resolution with the Graybill family, but have said they would pay the fair market value of the property, which stood at $1.4 million upon last appraisal. Ann Graybill, who still owns the farm, has plans to sell it to the school district on the terms she says were already agreed to.
I am very happy to see the Mannheim Central School own the majority of this farm at some point, but I would like them to honor the agreement that we already have.
The lease agreement states that Mannheim Central may rent the 18 acres until 2020, at which time Ann and school board administrators can come to a new resolution for another 10 years.
We have been always very happy on this farm. It made us a decent living. My husband was a potato farmer, and we enjoyed farming potatoes, and we loved where we lived, and we would just like to finish our agreement.
Going forward, Ann says she's interested to see how exactly eminent domain will affect this clause in the agreement. We, of course, will stay on this story and bring you more as it develops. Reporting in Mannheim, Holly Harrar, News 11.